In our last video, we were in the beautiful capital city of Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Of course, we checked out the beautiful buildings on Parliament Hill, checked out the waterfront and took a stroll along the Canal, did some shopping at the Byward Market District, and of course, checked out some street art. In this video,
we're in Indianapolis, Indiana.
As Indianapolis is a large city, I've divided this video into sections with exact times available in the description. For context, we visited Indianapolis in mid-May of 2025, a week before the Indy 500.
So in this section, we're in downtown Indianapolis and we're starting along the Canal Walk. It should take us to the White River. Indianapolis is the capital of Indiana and its most populous city at 890,000 people. We're starting our journey on the Canal Walk. This is a 3-mile loop along the historic Central Canal. It stretches from 11th Street to the White River State Park. It also connects to the Indy Cultural Trail.
Yeah, this was a beautiful place to start our explorations.
At the canal, you can rent paddleboards or kayaks or take a gondola ride. This beautiful brick building was once the Bethel African Methodist Episcopal Church, built in 1870. It's now a hotel.
And what an excellent way to repurpose an old building.
To the right is the Indiana Historical Society, which is a museum of Indiana history. We did visit it while we were there.
And that crowd of people you saw and will see at the next museum was because they were having fundraisers on this particular day.
This is the Indiana 9/11 Memorial, which was established in 2010 and expanded for the 20th anniversary in 2021. And here's a look at the Indiana Historical Society Museum from the other side. Central Canal was originally dug in the 1830s with the goal of facilitating interstate commerce. It was supposed to go 296 miles, but only 8 miles were actually completed. Here's another museum. This is the Indiana State Museum, and it's one of several sites. This is the NCAA National Office. It's been the headquarters since 1999, and it's immediately connected to the NCAA Hall of Champions, which opened in 2000.
And the canal terminates here at White River State Park.
Here's Indiana University, Indianapolis, which until July of 2024 was IUPUI.
Looks like it's time for our next section.
In this section, we're going to explore the core of downtown using Washington Street as our anchor.
All right, we realize we bit off way more than we could chew, so this section's going to get changed to Washington. Will still be our baseline, but Washington South, and then in another section we'll focus on Washington North. Well, sort of. Technically, the Capitol building sits on the north side of Washington Street, but we're going to go ahead and keep it in this section here.
So this is the Indiana State House, which is home to the Capitol. It was built in 1888. It's the 5th location of the Indiana state government, and whenever possible, they used materials native to Indiana, such as Indiana limestone and Indiana oak.
And of course, it was under construction, keeping our streak alive. When we visited the Capitol in DC, under construction. In Ottawa, Ontario, under construction. And now this one, under construction.
At the time it was built, it was wired for electricity, even though Indianapolis didn't even have an electrical power grid yet.
So after exploring those beautiful grounds, it was time to make our way back to Washington Street so we could explore the south side.
And the large building you see across the street there is the Convention Center.
Yeah, this convention center is in the heart of downtown, is within walking distance of all 3 sports venues, which we'll see later in the video.
This church is St. John the Evangelist Catholic Church, which opened in 1871 and is home to the oldest Catholic parish in Indianapolis.
Here's the first of our 3 sports venues. This is the football stadium, which opened in 2008. In the background there is Victory Field, their minor league baseball stadium, and we did actually attend a game. I'll just throw in a few quick pictures here so you can see it from the inside.
This is the Paramount Pictures Publix Theater, which was built in 1927. Since 1980, it's been home to the Indiana Repertory Theater.
Yeah, that is a beautiful theater that sits opposite of a mall, which you see here. Here's one of several construction and renovation projects we noticed during our stay.
Here's Union Station. Indy opened the world's first Union Station, which is where tracks and facilities are shared by 2 or more railways.
I was very happy to see this part of downtown seem very much alive and well, with lots of visitors.
There's the Morrison Block, which was built in 1870.
More evidence of construction and renovations.
This sculpture depicts basketball coach John Wooden, who was born in Indiana.
Indiana is certainly a basketball state, and it's interesting to note on the year of our visit, they actually went to the finals of the playoffs.
The building across the street is home to the Indianapolis Star, the newspaper, and it's been published since 1903.
Here we're coming to the arena where the Pacers play. This has been open since 1999.
And it's also home to the WNBA team, the Indiana Fever. Indianapolis is the 3rd most populous city in the Midwest after Chicago and Columbus. And as Jeff mentioned earlier, it is home to the Indy 500, the world's largest single-day sporting event.
With that said, looks like it's time for the next section. All right, in this section, we will be focusing on Washington Street, only this time north. Technically, the Capitol here fits that description, but we filmed that yesterday before we realized we bit off too much we can chew. So we're gonna start here at the Capitol and work our way east. Come along. We started by making our way towards that large monument you see in the background. So here we are back on Washington Street. As usual, we didn't start with much of a game plan. We just let areas and buildings of interest guide us. And it turns out we went quite a ways. And there's just another look at the Capitol.
That glass and iron dome in the background is called the Indy Arts Garden. It was built in 1996, and it's a venue for arts and performing arts.
And here we are entering Monument Circle.
The Soldiers and Sailors Monument stands 284 feet tall. It was dedicated in 1902, originally built to honor Civil War veterans, but eventually expanded to include earlier wars.
The bleachers that you notice throughout the downtown are for the Indianapolis 500 parade, which was actually going to be the following weekend after we will have already left.
You can actually take the stairs to the top of the monument. This was the U.S. Courthouse and Post Office built in 1905. It now serves as a district court for southern Indiana. And this is the start of a 5-block area known as the Indiana War Memorial Plaza. The building with the pillars is the World War I Memorial, built in 1924.
Yeah, this is a fabulous section of the downtown. Just check out these beautiful old buildings. Here's just a closer look at the World War I Memorial.
This is Obelisk Square. They hold events here, and as you can see, they were actually holding a festival when we were there.
This area is the American Legion Mall.
The Scottish Rite Cathedral shown here was built in 1929. It's one of the largest Freemason buildings and the largest Scottish Rite building in the world. This building is home to the American Legion National Headquarters. It's been located in Indy since 1925 and in this building since 1950.
And here we see the Central Library, an interesting section where the old meets the new. If you've watched our channel in the past, you know we love street art, and if that's your thing as well, there will be a section dedicated to the street art we found throughout our visit towards the end of the video. Here you see we're starting to get a little bit too far from the core of the downtown, so it was time to start heading back. We decided to make our return on a parallel street 1 block over.
There is so much history in this town. It was founded in 1821 and incorporated in 1831, so it's nice that so many of these old buildings still exist.
And newer buildings in the heart of the downtown as well.
This brick building is the Indy City Market, opened in 1886. It was closed in 2024 for renovations.
That said, looks like it's time for our next section.
In this section, we'll be exploring Massachusetts Avenue. The Mass Ave neighborhood is an arts district known for its eclectic mix of theaters, restaurants, art galleries, shops, and nightlife.
And it's also just awesome. I really loved this section. I'm glad we stumbled upon it. Mass Avenue's an awesome mix of retail and residential. The Shriners Murat Temple was built in 1910.
And this houses the Rathskeller, which is Indy's oldest restaurant since 1894.
It's also home to a theater.
Historic Fire Station Number 2 was opened in 1872 and converted to a museum in 1996. And now we're entering the Bottle Works District, which is an entertainment district that was originally a Coca-Cola bottling company. Our final stop was the Benjamin Harrison Presidential Site. He was the 23rd president, and this was his family home, built in 1875. It's now a museum.
Next up is the street art section we mentioned earlier, and then we'll be back to wrap this video up. All right, what'd you think of Indianapolis?
I really liked it. I knew basically nothing about Indy, but what a cool war memorial area, several blocks, and this whole Mass Avenue and Bottle Works district. I just thought it was great. Loved every minute of it.
Yeah, we came in rather late at night, and I thought, oh no, this is all just banks and newer kind of business downtown, but I was so wrong. Every section that we explored over the last few days has been fantastic, and I had a great time. I'm so glad that we showed up. So huge thumbs up.
Me too.
All right, get off the couch. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.